Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Glossy Philosophy. My name is Jansen Finman and today you are tuned in for a makeup tutorial on going to a special getaway for a honeymoon or with a significant other. You are going somewhere warm and we are doing impactful makeup quickly to get you out the door so you can have a ton of fun with that significant other. So stay tuned. I've already washed my face and prepped my skin with skincare, so let's get started correcting and neutralizing anything that needs to be neutralized. Starting with the Bobbi Brown Corrector in Bisque on my ring finger and just really lightly tapping. I did not pick up very much product on my finger. When you're working with a thicker corrector, it's really important that you work in thin layers in case you do need to do an extra layer or just so that nothing is getting stuck in the creases of your eye. Your under eye is and your eye area in general is one of those spaces that moves quite a bit throughout the day. So you don't want to bog it down with lots of product, especially a thicker cream, or if you know you're going in with quite a few products. So now I'm going in with the NARS primer. This one is the tinted version, going from the lash line all the way up to the brow, but not putting it into the brow. Really, this is just a great silicone primer that has a tint to it, so it's going to grip onto those powders, those creams, any product that you put on top, and it's just going to give them longevity. It'll also give them a truer color because you've knocked out all of those little veins that can peek through. So the tinted one I really like. I like the regular one too, but since the tinted one has come, I feel like it's knocked out a step of doing another shadow as well. Especially as we age, our skin does get thinner and things do start to poke out a little bit. So now we're gonna prep our eyes with the little Rock and Kohl from Charlotte Tilbury. And just putting that in the waterline. Just really lightly lifting up that lid. You don't want to pull anything around the eye area because, especially if you're doing your makeup on a regular basis, that repeated motion of grabbing your skin or lifting it, you just want to be really gentle because you don't want to give yourself extra wrinkles and extra creases where you wouldn't normally have them just because you like putting on your makeup. So here are the eyeshadows that we are doing, and we are doing more of an eye focus look because this is like the vacation getaway after the wedding or just, any time. I do feel like the eyes are kind of the key, especially if this is an actual honeymoon. You're probably going to be kissing your significant other quite a bit, so I think the eyes are the key. If this is just a regular vacation, you might want to do a lip look, and I might do that in a different video as well. I'll show almost the exact same products but with a lip look instead of an eye look, but today it's all about the eyes. So we've prepped our skin. We are ready to go in with everything else. I'm going to do my brows first before we go in with the eyeshadow because I do want to make sure that everything is nice and balanced, and I feel like you need to fill in your brows before you do your eyeshadow, especially if it's a moment when you want to get out the door, you want to enjoy the company you're with, you don't have a ton of time. If you do your brows first, it just helps everything stay in balance a little bit better than if you do them second or after the fact, because you might find that after you fill in your brows, you don't need as much product or you need a little bit more product. And we are going to, because I have the ANASTASIA brow definer now, I can fill this part in a little bit more, so I do like to do that. You can always brush through your brows at the end of the application if you feel like you need to. So we are going to take the 201 from BK Beauty, and we're actually going to start with the bronzer. So when I created this look, I wanted to think about ease of packing, and the less eyeshadows you can bring, I think the better. If you can get a quad or get a MAC palette that has just the 4. It really does force you to pare down your makeup. I used to be that person that would bring pretty much all of my makeup if I was going on vacation, instead of just thinking it through for a moment and thinking, okay, daytime look, nighttime look, maybe something a little bit funky if I wanted to. I made it way too complicated. And as you know, makeup takes up quite a bit of room and you have to really wrap it so it doesn't break. So just keep it a little bit easier, especially if you are going somewhere tropical, somewhere really lovely with someone special. Just keep it a little bit more simple. So with the bronzer, I'm going from the outside and then I am doing a little bit on the lid just to kind of prep it for our bronzier shade. And I'm going in a second time just to make sure that I have a really good base, because I am using Uninterrupted, which, you know, can kind of be a little bit in your face, but I think it's a really, really fun color as well to just warm up a look. So my bronzer is a little bit on that neutral side, so we do want a little bit of warmth, especially if we're wearing, you know, warmer colored clothes. It's really a good idea to take some of these colors and pop them into your makeup. It just creates a really nice cohesive look from your head all the way down to your toes. All right, now I'm going to go in with the 203 and Woodwinked, and I'm going to put that all over the lid, and then we'll kind of dive into Uninterrupted and Swiss Chocolate if we feel like we need it. Woodwinked, I know I've said this before, is such a pleasure to put on. Whoever formulated this did a phenomenal job. And you can, with this one, you can bring it up just a little bit into that socket if you want to. You don't have to keep it super clean because we are going to go in with the Uninterrupted shade later. Just a little bit though. All right. So everything's kind of looking the same. The bronzer's in that same color wheelhouse, and then Woodwinked is like a shimmer version of a bronzer, basically. So now we need something to pop the eyes, and we're going to go in with a 217 into Uninterrupted, which is this gorgeous like caramel color, and just really lightly start to define. Because I am fairer, Uninterrupted can get a little much sometimes. So it's really just lightly touching the skin and taking a step back and making sure that it's going where you want it to go. I also find that when I do go a little bit darker on my eyes personally and on fairer eyes in general, you have to think beyond what it looks like right now, because right now it's maybe feeling a little bit like, whoa, that's a lot of eyeshadow, but we haven't put on the liner, and the liner, creating that lash line and like a thicker lash line with the liner is really, really going to help support the darker colors on the eye. Somebody who has a darker skin tone might feel that they don't even need a liner because it just plays really beautifully with your skin tone already. So always take skin tone into account when you're playing with your colors and you're watching tutorials online. Always, always take into account your own personal skin tone. And if you're not sure about a color or a look, feel free to get some help from a MAC counter or really any beauty counter. You'll figure out who knows what they're talking about and who doesn't pretty quickly. Okay, I do want to amp this up just a little bit with, I'm going to use my pencil brush into Swiss Chocolate. And I'm really going to focus on just that outer part of the eye. Now, Swiss Chocolate in the pan can look a little dark, but I feel like on the skin, it never quite translates super dark like a Brun. Brun is definitely going to make an impact, whereas I feel like Swiss chocolate just kind of gently flows into the rest of your eyeshadow a little bit better. It also has a red undertone, so it's really nice with a smoky eye. Also really nice with hazel and green eyes as well. The opposite of green on the color spectrum is red. So anytime you can grab something that has a little bit of a red undertone, you don't have to actually wear red eyeshadow. Just something with a red undertone will really, really pop the color of green and hazel eyes. If you have blue eyes, it's going to be something that's a little bit more orange, so Uninterrupted would be a fabulous color, just kind of by itself for blue eyes. And then brown eyes, you can kind of do whatever you want because you're just like super neutral in the land of eye colors. All right, we are going to stop right here because I do want to see what everything looks like with liner on. I'm going to use Stay All Day because, you know, we're somewhere hot. We want to make sure that our liner is on and we don't have to fuss, we don't have to mess. We're going to create just a little wing. This is a brand new one. Like, I literally just took it out of the box before starting the tutorial. And a new Stila is a potent thing because there's tons and tons of product in there. So you just want to take your time. And you also don't have to press very hard to get product on the skin. Always taking a moment to just kind of step back, making sure that everything is nice and balanced. But as you can see, just adding a little bit of a separation between the lash line and the darker shadows really makes a big difference, especially again on fairer skin or anytime you're going darker than your skin tone. Just creating that thicker lash line helps. I am going to do my trick of adding in a gel liner with an angled brush just to kind of soften it up a little bit. Because I'm assuming that this is the makeup, or this is the story I'm telling about this person who's going on this fabulous vacation, is that this is the makeup you're doing in the morning and you're not touching it all day. So we're going to use chocolate shimmer just to soften it a touch so that it's appropriate for the fabulous breakfast you are heading to. But we have the black for longevity and for that lash line separation that we need with a smokier eye. And you can even see that you could really amp up that Swiss chocolate if you wanted to. So what I would do, if this was like me going on this pretend amazing vacation, I would wear the eyeshadow exactly like this, and then at night, when I put on, kind of refresh my makeup, I would just amp up the Swiss chocolate in the crease a little bit and maybe add a little bit underneath to create even a smokier eye. But when I'm sightseeing and maybe hanging out on the beach and, you know, doing all those wonderful things that you do on a hotter vacation, you don't want to spend a ton of time on your eyes because you are going to sweat and all those things. So just getting like the basics, or just getting like a really nice basic smoky your eye going is going to be a time saver, and you're going to look amazing in your sunglasses with or without them on. So you're going to feel really good, and then you just amp it up with Uninterrupted and Swiss chocolate, maybe a little bit of extra bronzer. You're good to go for dinner and wherever the night takes you. So eyes are done. We just need to add mascara. I'm going to drop the 3D Maximizer for right now because, again, I'm just thinking, you know, it's one additional step that we don't really need if we are hanging out and on vacation. Like, your lashes are already going to look amped up because of the liner. And even though you will be taking photos of everything, you're probably not going to be taking the intensity of photos with those super close-up shots unless your significant other is a photographer and thinks of those things, or you are a photographer. If you really feel like you need to, then, you know, go for it. There's no reason not to except just time. So just kind of cutting down one additional step is all that I'm thinking. All right. Now we can move on to complexion. So we've spent a bit of time in our eyes, so now we're just gonna really go for it with our eyes. So Giorgio Armani Duo Fiber Brush, because it is hot and I do not want a ton of coverage. I just want to look pulled together. I want to look fresh. I want everyone to ooh and ah that, you know, I'm a married lady now. We're just trying to look well rested, really. And I am going to use my Shiseido Tinted Moisturizer because you are going to be out, you are going to be in the sun, and we're just going to use our fingers. I know I said in another video that I don't love doing this, and that is still true. But again, when you're on vacation, I think it's totally fine. And I probably am going to go in with the brush just to make sure. So this Shiseido one is very, very light. Light coverage. It feels amazing on the skin, but the coverage is super light. If you feel like you need a little bit more coverage for whatever reason, then I would go in with a separate sunscreen first, like for during your skincare moments, and then I would put on the Giorgio Armani or basically like whatever foundation you got for the wedding. But just remember, you're on vacation. It's okay if things aren't perfection. It's all right. The perfection comes from who you are with and how you are spending your time. We are going to do just a little bit of powdering, and I'm not going to do the precision powder brush because we are just going to get in and get out so that we can go have fun. And again, eat that delicious breakfast that is waiting for us and have that yummy, yummy coffee that is waiting for us. Going in with Sweet Enough on the same brush. I chose this one because it is a Barely There blush. And it also goes really well with this kimono, which I'm loving. It's kind of like a robe and a cover up and all those things. Adding not a lot, adding the correct amount of bronzer. Because I'm wearing sunscreen, I'm probably not going to be getting too much sun. And I'm also going to bring along in my handbag a powder sunscreen as well, so I can touch up throughout the day, because remember, sunscreen really only lasts for about 2 hours. So if you are sightseeing outside on your amazing tropical vacation, then you definitely want to make sure that you are protecting your skin. So if you are bringing this along for a little bit of coverage and the SPF, this one has a 20. I would definitely amp it up with your reapplication. This is just going to get you through breakfast, basically. So a powder sunscreen or a liquid or something that you feel comfortable just kind of tapping on your face throughout the day. You're just going to be so much happier. I have so many stories from friends and family of going on a honeymoon vacation with fair skin, especially, and they're having such a good time, they totally forgot about sunscreen. And then at the end of the first day, they're just like lobsters. And then you have to deal with that for the rest of your vacation. So that's not fun. Fake the sun with bronzer. It's okay. It is totally okay. Going in with a little bit of highlight, because remember, the highlight is really just for us, and just having that little bit of glow when you're, as you're walking around, it just makes you feel good. And it's just for you, really. Okay, now the only thing left we have are lips. So you get to decide if you want to do an actual lip or lip gloss. If I am heading straight from doing my makeup into having coffee and food, I'm just going to go with a gloss. This one is Muse by Lisa Eldridge. I chose Muse because Muse is very close to my natural lip color, Songbird. If you have similar coloring, Songbird is also a great one. Petal will add a little bit of pink. Go Lightly will add a little bit of that peach. So any 4 of those would be great ones to bring on this wonderful vacation that you are going on. But Muse is kind of my go-to. I don't have to think about it, and it seems to work really well with everything that I put on. If I'm bringing a lipstick with me, I'm going to go with Kitten Mischief, because again, I want to keep everything very neutral on the lips because we really amped up the eyes. So that is the tutorial. Thank you guys so much for watching this tutorial on a honeymoon getaway, or just a getaway with someone significant in your life. I tried to keep it easy and simple, easy breezy, focus on the eyes. I think especially when you are on vacation, really hone in on one detail. Eyes, lips, and then everything else is just quick. Because you don't want to spend a ton of time in front of the mirror getting your makeup done when you could be having fun with your significant other, grabbing that coffee, walking those beaches, all those things. So just take a breath. It's going to be fine. You don't have to bring your entire makeup drawer. You don't. I promise you. Thank you again for watching. I do fashion videos every Wednesday, beauty videos every Friday, and on Mondays tackling specific things to make your life a little bit easier and a little bit more glossy. So hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.